Why, hello there. Hello, hello, hello. As I've learned that I usually say, welcome to 5 Question Friday. My name is Cam. This is the show where we answer 5 questions that you send us about Croatia through all and any of our channels. So Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, oh my gosh, I'm like blanking. Our 5 Question Friday forum, our consulting sessions, you name it. However you send us these questions, we put them in a roster and we plan, and eventually your question may end up on an episode of 5 Question Friday. I don't know if you can hear, there is someone really loud mowing their lawn. I've got the mics hooked up though. We've sorted out my mic problem. Hey, Tamara. We've sorted out my mic problem, so I think I probably sound good, finally. And I don't know if you can see, you better be able to see. Look at this background. Let me get out of the way so that you could see the beauty behind me. I mean, is that gorgeous or what? I love the sea, but I wouldn't trade my hills permanently for the sea. And I'm sure that my Spličani and all the Dalmatinci would totally disagree. But we all love what's home to us, don't we? So these are the beautiful hills of Sveta Jana. I'm going to show them to you one more time because it's such a beautiful day. We've been recording inside. So this is my second week in a row now. Last week, Sarah had an emergency and she couldn't make it. And the weather was so horrible. And so, I did another episode from my office walls, which, nothing special about that. And then today was such a gorgeous day. And, all of the blossoms of all the fruit trees, they're just looking gorgeous. And I was like, oh, where am I going to record today? So I was driving into Jastrebarsko thinking maybe I'll just go to Derdedi Park and film from there. But then I was like, oh, I bet it's really beautiful up in the hills. So I called my friend Dennis, who owns this really cool restaurant up here called Šumski Dvor in a little village called Ivančići. So I'm totally going to I got to give him props because this is not the first time I've come up here to do something work related. And literally I call him and I'm like, hey, Dennis, can I come up there and record something for work? And he's like, Draga, of course, nema problema. And the restaurant's closed because it's open seasonally. It's going to open really soon. But there's a gate down at the bottom of this really steep incline hill. And he's like, you are going to have to park at the bottom and walk up because it's all closed off. There's nobody there. And I was like, okay, that's as long as it's okay, I'll do that. And so I dropped my car off at the bottom of the hill. I grabbed the tripod. I grabbed everything, grabbed my bottle of water. Thank God. And I trekked my way up the hill, huffing and puffing. And, I'd say it was worth the view. Definitely $1 million view. So I'm really happy I came up here. And I really want to say thank you to Dennis. I kind of have another cool story about him. When I came in the summer of 2022, my old business partner from Canada was with me and I wanted to bring her up here. Usually whenever anybody came to visit, I would always come up here. And we came up and the restaurant was closed, but there was somebody here, the door was open, but clearly nothing was really happening. And my business partner at the time was like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. I'm like, no, let's just go knock on the door and see what's up. Cause it's summer. Why isn't this place open? It's my favorite place to be. And, but I hadn't been since pre-COVID. So, this was new territory now. So I came up and knocked on the door and Dennis was working away inside and he had just sort of taken over the restaurant, but they weren't open yet. And I was there with my business partner and with my kids. And him and his sister were here, getting stuff ready for their opening. And they're like, you're not leaving. Sit down. We will make you something. Let us just look in the fridge and see what we have. And so they made us this amazing meal. She's a vegetarian, so she had this pasta with mushrooms. I had a pork, also my kids had fries. They had this awesome dessert. we were blown away. And since then, I've been a fan. And anytime you come, it's kind of like, for my North American friends, it's kind of like Cheers. You always come, they always know your name. There's always a shot of rakia waiting for you. There's often celebrations with tamborashi, which if you know me, I love tamborashi. And so it's a favorite place of mine. And usually where I'm standing right now is filled with little kind of Italian style wooden tables and wooden chairs. Like, it's very down home, the checkerboard tablecloths, and this view. And so I love, love, love coming up here. So thank you, Dennis, for always allowing me to come up here and film this. I don't even know that he'll see this or that he'll understand it if he does watch it, but I figured the shout out was appropriate. So, what can I say about this weather? I mean, I know as I go through the show today, it will get colder. I've got my Canadian hoodie on to keep me warm as the sun sets, and I figured it would be a little bit colder up here than it was, down closer to Yaska, but I'll take it. Like I said, it's been really rainy around here, and I'm in the north, so winters here are really cold. And it's funny because I'm Canadian, so like, what do you mean cold? But it's a different kind of cold, and I think I've spoken about this before. It's very wet and gray here. And in Canada, it might be like minus 20, but the sun is shining and you got to wear sunglasses for most of the winter. And here, like in the north, we're so lucky to catch, those sunny days. And so when you got them, like, you got to take advantage of them. And today was just one of those days. So I'm happy to be out in the sun, and spring has most definitely sprung here in Croatia. And it's such a great, great feeling. So welcome to the show. If it's your first time joining us, happy to have you. We answer 5 questions about Croatia every Friday. Sarah will be back next week. She is in Texas, and she will be coming to you live from Texas, which is super duper cool. So I know you guys miss her, and I can't wait to hear some of her stories. She's always got a really great story or anecdote to share. So I know that, you guys will get the full Sarah effect next week. But for today, you're stuck with me again, which I hope you don't mind. All right, I've got my little cheat sheet here of questions. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get started. The first question comes to us from Tash through Instagram. And Tash asks, is it possible to change from a tourist visa to a work permit without having to have to exit the country first? So the answer is yes and no. It really actually depends on where you're from, where you hold citizenship. So if you don't require a visa to enter Croatia, then you can apply from Croatia if you meet all the requirements of the permit, of course. But if you are from a country, so if you're a third country national who requires a visa to enter Croatia, then you can't apply for a residence permit from inside the country. It has to be done through your embassy back home, or where you have residence outside of Croatia. So there are some exemptions to this rule. For example, if someone is a family member of a Croatian citizen, and there is not a laundry list, but a list of a few exceptions to that rule. So listen, everyone's situation is different, and it's going to be really important to do due diligence for your specific scenario and research, speak to the right people, make sure you've confirmed everything so that you know which scenario applies to you. So we've got a few guides to help guide you along the way. We've got one called Available Visas for Entry into Croatia. We've got the difference between getting a visa and a residence permit. And this is a really important one because a lot of people use these terms interchangeably, and in Croatia, they are not interchangeable. Visa is one thing, residence permit is another thing. They are not the same. A lot of people call the digital nomad permit a digital nomad visa, and it's not. It's a residence permit. It's a digital nomad permit in Croatia. So good to know, good vocab to learn and know if you're navigating things like this. Thank you. That's the question from Tash. So if it's your first time joining us, let me kind of give you the lowdown. So if you're watching on IG, either live or in a playback, you can leave a comment or you can send us a DM to ask us for a specific guide. But if you're watching the replay on YouTube, if you scroll down, you'll see that all of the links that we refer to in the show are actually in the write-up for the YouTube video. So however you need it, reach out to us and we will get it to you. Thank you, Tash, for the question. Let's move on to the next one. This one was really cool. Judith from Facebook asks, how do I find out if my dog is listed as a dangerous dog in Croatia? Cool question. Thanks and props to my colleague Daniela, who did the digging for this. Lots of people ask us about their pets and how to import them and how to care for them when they're here. So that's something that I commonly speak of. But this was actually the first time for me that somebody brought up, having a dog that potentially would have issues with crossing the border because of their breed. So here's what we can share with you. So for a dog to enter and temporarily stay if they fall under the dangerous dog breeds, so pit bull terriers and their crossbreeds. By the way, I am not saying that all pit bulls are dangerous. These are one of the dogs listed. I have friends who have pit bulls who are fabulous. We had a cane corso, which people thought was dangerous, and he was just, 100 and something kilos and a little teddy bear. So I don't want anyone saying that I said that all pit bulls were dangerous. They are not. I think all dogs can be dangerous if they're not well trained. But I digress. Okay, so entry and temporary stay of dangerous dog breeds is not allowed in Croatia if they are not entered into the register of the World Canine Organization. So what does this mean? Your dog must have documents proving its pedigree. The dog must be registered with the World Canine Organization, and if it does not have these or comes from an uncontrolled breeding source, the dog will not be allowed to enter Croatia. All these rules are regulated by the Ordinance on Dangerous Dogs. I have a link for this rule book, so if someone's interested in getting more info, shoot us a DM. If you're watching on YouTube, scroll down because we're going to include it there as well. You can look it up and see sort of the details if you do have one of these dogs that you think might fit under this classification. I also mentioned previously, we talked to lots of people about their dogs, and we have a guide for pets. So how to bring your pet into Croatia and care for them once you arrive. This is really informative, and actually it was just sort of given a facelift last year with a fabulous FAQ question. There's different tips on how to care for your pet once you're here, which is really a wonderful addition. Hey, Sam, thanks for joining us. Take care. Sometimes it's hard to watch Friday at 5, but you can always watch the replay. It's always there for you. So always happy when you're joining us live, but it stays on our page and you can always watch it later. Awesome. All right. Sonia from Instagram sends us this next message, or this next question rather. Do you have any information on the youth mobility program? My son has been looking for some guidance regarding this, both in Croatia and from the Canadian consulate from the Croatian consulate in Canada, to no avail. All right, so this is a really cool program, and I'm going to share a little bit. So any of my fellow Canadians who don't have their Croatian citizenship, I know a lot of friends who have children who may not have their citizenship yet and would love to spend a year abroad, and or friends of theirs. This is a really cool opportunity. So let me share a little bit. So the Youth Mobility Program is specifically a program between Croatia and Canada that allows Canadian citizens between the age of 18 and 35 to live, work, and travel in Croatia for up to 12 months, allowing them to gain work experience and exploring Croatia's beautiful culture. So let me go over some of these eligibility requirements. I've already mentioned the age, which is 18 to 35. You have to have a valid Canadian passport that has to be valid during the duration of your stay, obviously. You have to have a return ticket. You have to provide proof of sufficient funds that you can support yourself through the course of that year. You have to have valid health insurance for the duration of your stay. And you have to have proof of prearranged work or study placements. So contract, placement in school, whatever your purpose might be. And then, of course, a criminal record check. So you have to have a certificate confirming no criminal record from Canada. The application is processed through the Croatian consulate in Canada, and once it's approved, the applicant receives a temporary residence permit, and you come to Croatia. You have to register within 3 days of arriving, and Bob's your uncle, or your streets, or your tetats. And it's probably not Bob. It's probably Jure, or Stipe, or Ante. You can apply for this program twice, but there has to be a gap between stays. So up to a maximum of 2 times you can explore the youth mobility program. So super cool. Thanks for this question, Sonia. I hope we helped demystify a little bit and get you some information. We do have a guide for all Canadians, though, how Canadian citizens can visit and live in Croatia. And it goes through the different residence options for my fellow Canadian peeps. Awesome. Oh, you can see it. The wind. It's got this tinge of cold. I'm in the shade. It's definitely getting chilly. I might have to zip up my Canadian hoodie. Does everybody call it a hoodie around the world? Or is that just a Canadian term? Hey, DK Gradetsky, Nova Scotia here, hoping to visit this fall. Amazing! Do you have any Croatian connection, or are you just coming because you heard Croatia is really cool? Let me know. Okay. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I love when you guys talk to me. It makes it more fun. It makes me feel like I'm not standing on the top of a hill by myself, just talking to the abyss. All right, this next question comes to us from Mike through the 5 Question Friday form. In case you didn't know, if you go to our website, there is from the main menu, and I think the About drop-down menu, oh gosh, I might be wrong. In one of those menus, when you get to the drop down, it says 5 Question Friday. Or I think there's a page that says 5 Question Friday. This is really bad. I should know this. Anyways, there is a 5 Question Friday form on our website that you can fill out, and we can add your question to the roster. You can also just send an email through any of the forms if you can't find that 5 Question Friday form, or DM us or whatever. DK, hubby has Croatian roots recently discovered. Oh, that's so exciting and so cool. I have no doubt that you will enjoy yourselves here. Fall is an incredible time to come to Croatia. I wouldn't say that the tourism season ends. I think a lot of people have clued into the fact that fall is a beautiful time to be here, but definitely it's not the craziness that July, August are. So I'm very confident you will have a beautiful, beautiful time. Actually, some extended family came last fall, and the weather was horrible, which was really unusual. It was really rainy. It was really cold. But they trugged along. They did a whole tour of Croatia, and they were such good sports about it. They were wearing, ponchos, rain ponchos almost every day in all of their pictures. But it didn't dampen their spirits or the spirits of their tour. They were on a group tour. But usually the weather's really lovely. Okay. Mike, 5 Question Friday forum. Let me get back. I'm coming back to you guys. I'm coming back. What is the minimum period or minimum amount of years you have to pay into the Croatian state pension as a permanent resident before you can receive a pension? Great question, Mike. Okay, so this rule applies to anyone who contributes to the pension fund, including citizens and permanent residents. So, Mike, it'll be the same for me as it is for you. So the right to starosna mirovina, to the old age pension, is there's sort of two things you have to reach. You have to be at least 65 years old to access it, and you have to have contributed to the pension system for 15 years. So, for example, if you decide to retire at 50 and you've worked 15 years, so you met that 15-year requirement, but you're at 50, you're I'm done, I'm retiring. You fulfilled the 15-year requirement, but you won't be able to access your pension until you're 65. So you have to hit both. So I guess I'm not retiring early. Definitely not retiring early. Are you retiring early, Mike? That's pretty cool if you will be. So everything you need to know about Croatia's pension system, we have a guide for that. So feel free to reach out through the DMs or scroll down if you're watching on YouTube. All right. we're at the end here. This is our last question, and it comes from someone named Anonymous. It's from a consulting call, and I thought it was a really great question, and I wanted to bring up the question here on 5 Question Friday. And the question is it hard to have a pet in a rental, or is it challenging to find a rental if you have a pet? We have lots of people coming with their fur babies, with their furry loved ones, and it comes up quite often. But I reached out to Tamara from Resolve Relocation, who is an amazing resource for helping people find places to live and rent in Croatia. And I was like, hey, I need some tips. And so she was kind enough to share some tips. So I will share those with you. Okay, so while many landlords in Croatia can be hesitant to rent to people with pets, it's definitely not impossible. You can definitely do it. Sometimes there's a bit more pushback in the higher end rentals though. If they have nicer or newer furniture, if it's a new renovation, then there's a little bit of pushback. It's usually harder with dogs, but there are some landlords who are weary of cats. Again, worried about scratching furniture, worried about maybe kitty litter or things like that. So she offered up some tips and solutions. And this is number 1. Use the assistance of someone local to navigate Croatia's rental market. That goes for any rental, pet or no pet. Croatia is really, really transactional, and it truly still is here about who you know. Oh, hey, I see Hunter. You joined. Hey, Hunter. Nice to see you. Totally just got distracted. It's really, I think that, a lot of people think that, okay, I'm coming to Croatia in the fall. I'm just going to look up and find a rental, but Croatia doesn't work that way. It's very transactional. It's very in person. And also what you find in April is not going to be available in the fall. So it's not, I find it's very different from my experience in Canada or in what I think is a North American experience. I wouldn't do it without having someone like Tamara helping me, because you don't know the customs. You don't know kind of what to look for, how things function here. And it's so nice to have that. I always call it boots on the ground, advocating for you and hunting for you and sort of understanding your perspective and your needs, and navigating the way that things are here. A higher deposit might also do the trick, or a landlord may ask, or you can try to negotiate with an additional cleaning fee or something, something along those lines. I asked her, I was like, what happens if you don't tell them and you just show up with a pet after you've negotiated your contract? And that's a big no-no. Do not lie about your furry roommate. Oh, what's Hunter saying? You are 100% correct on how to navigate the rental market with pets. Yeah, cool. I love when I'm right. No, listen, it's the truth, and it's not the same as home, right? And you can't expect everywhere in the world to be the same as it is when you're home. If everything was the same everywhere, we wouldn't be looking to go somewhere else. So, so don't lie. Flat out, don't lie. That could really turn around and bite you in the ass. And not the pet biting you in the ass, but legally things biting you in the ass. And then I also asked her, they have things like pet resumes in North America, or where you get a referral from an older landlord, or a previous landlord rather, saying that the pet is great. That doesn't fly here. Croatian landlords don't care about that, and they definitely don't want to see a pet resume. I think that's a very North American thing. So really important to be upfront, really important to understand that there are just going to be some rentals that are not open to having pets. It may cost you more to have a pet with you. So, consider all of those things, and I think navigating with someone who can really help you will be the least amount of heartache for you. Thank you, Tamara, for your help. We have a few guides, of course. We have 10 things to know before renting an apartment in Croatia. And then understanding your rights as a renter, which I think sort of gets glossed over. When it's really important to have a contract, but it's also really important to understand your rights. So, oh, hey, Monica, who came with her very famous dog. I think you just missed it. We were just talking about finding pet rentals in Croatia. And her beautiful, beautiful dog was here, who has their own blog and shared their experience from their four-legged perspective, which was very cool. So yeah, that's it. We're done. That's 5 Question Friday for y'all today. As I said, so I want to for anybody who just came on and maybe didn't watch from the beginning, I'm coming at you live from the beautiful hills, picturesque hills of Svetljana. And next week, you will be getting live from Texas with Sarah. She will be back with you. And I hope everyone has a great week. I hope you had a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. And I hope you had a great week in the past tense. I hope this weather sticks around. I'm done with, 1-digit numbers for temperatures. I want it to be in the teens or in the 20s. So that's what I'm hoping for. Thank you, Hunter. I appreciate the love and support. Oh, thank you so much. Listen, my Croatian goodbye. It's like, I got to say goodbye, but I don't know how to do it. It's like, I think I've said that my husband says that I will have spent half of my life saying goodbye to people. Maybe I've already shared this, but like when we're at a party and I'm like, okay, maybe we should go. And he's like, sure. And so like, he doesn't get up for until I've gone around to everyone and said my goodbyes. And then I'm at the door and I'm like, are we going? And he's like, oh, are you finally ready to go? 'Cause you said we were leaving like 37 minutes ago. So my Croatian goodbye is done. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And if I won't talk to you before Easter. Sretan Uskrs. There is a reel coming up with me working on a pisanica, an Easter egg. So leave some love. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, but you might not see me live until after Easter. I think my next 5 Question Friday is in May. So I will see you in May. And that's it. Ciao. Vidimo se bok.